Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 200.
200.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Can't
I can't believe
it.
it.
I know.
Cannot believe it. And check out this awesome drawing from our friend and longtime viewer, Grace Newth. Tremendous.
I couldn't believe it. It's such I look so skinny, which I love.
Yes, I like her drawing. Very generous with the belly there. So I encourage that.
And MEI Travel, thanks to MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel for sponsoring us. And thank you guys for using them as well. They are terrific for any time of year, but this time we're going to be talking about Halloween and autumn. Food and Wine Festival also, but we're not talking about that today.
That's right. More Halloween, much more Halloween today. Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency. Check them out. Now we are back to Halloween, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, number 2 for us.
And it was a much prettier day out than the first day. The first day had quite a bit of rain to kind of start out the party. And this was a beautiful blue day, and it was not that crowded.
Right, much less crowded than opening night.
And opening night wasn't even that busy, so I'm sure as the season progresses, that will change.
So the purpose of this segment is to show as much of the party as we can that we did not cover last week.
Right, some other elements of the party, including characters and some trick-or-treating. We didn't talk really hardly at all about those last week. And one of the new elements of trick-or-treating this year is allergy bags.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to say just allergy. If you have, let's say, a gluten-free allergy, a nut allergy, it isn't like you go and you pick those items up at the stations, but you get this token.
A special token,
that
special
Robert
bag.
is holding, right? And you have this bag, which you stop at, I believe, like Town Square Theater for. That's where I ended up bringing the tokens back to. And then you would be getting tokens as you are trick-or-treating normally. Here we're just not getting the tokens, but Robert gave us one. And then you go to the stations as normal, and then at the end of the night, you collect your goodies.
And we will demonstrate that whole process later on in the show. Now we're going to move on. We're going to talk a little bit about meeting the characters.
And by meeting the characters, we're not talking about Mickey here, who's in his vampire outfit, just like at Minnie's Dine, which we did this week.
This is Jack and Sally. This is probably the most popular meet and greet. They've moved over to Liberty Square.
Right.
At the old gazebo area.
The Seven Dwarfs are where they were last year in Storybook Circus. And Jack and Sally and the Seven Dwarfs are generally the most popular.
Now, Jack and Sally actually come out at 5. They allow you to start lining up at 4. We would say that would be a very wise choice if you want to meet them.
And we had Megan and
There's
Heather
Megan,
here.
yes, that's right. And I wanted to use some different footage, so luckily I had this great footage of Megan meeting them, so always cool to see her.
I didn't end up going into meeting them. I've had some heat. You know, it's been really hot
You
lately.
have had a few little heat things.
Yes, and so even the last couple days. So it'll be nice when we can kind of cool down here because it's been very, very hot and humid. Now here are the Seven Dwarfs, and as you can see in Storybook Circus, same place that Jack and Sally were last year, the last couple of years, it's very crowded, but we got a good spot in line, maybe an hour early, so then it only took us maybe 15 minutes to get through.
Right, so if you start with Jack and Sally and then head straight over to the dwarf area, they come out between 6:15, 6:20 or so.
About 6:20, I think it was, while we were there, and there are all the dwarfs.
And they were fantastic. I like this new location for the dwarf. The backdrop, it actually has a roof in case it rains. It's very good.
I actually like the one in the regular Fantasyland location better, but as you said, because of the rain. However, Jack and Sally now are out more in the elements.
Well, they have a roof, though.
A little bit.
A little bit.
And here is Minnie Mouse, and she is meeting in Storybook Circus along with Donald Duck, who we haven't seen yet, and right near the dwarf, so we got in line for them right afterwards.
Boy, these PhotoPass workers seem quite happy. And look, there is Donald. Now, Daisy was supposed to come out, but Donald kind of told me Daisy wasn't ready with her costume.
Is it really? So Donald
That's
told
what
you
I
that?
got out of Donald. I said, what happened to Daisy? Yeah, Daisy is supposed to be out there dressed as a princess.
And in her blue, I think it's like a blue costume we've seen elsewhere and at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
That's right. But Donald is awesome as always. We enjoyed seeing him. And of course, Minnie in her witch outfit.
But can I tell you, the Minnie's Dine, Donald in his astronaut outfit.
I know. Well, that's coming up. That's going to just, I'm telling you, it's spectacular.
You know, a pumpkin's a pumpkin, but as an astronaut. So we'll see that later on.
Right. But anyway, Minnie was wonderful as always. Always love meeting the characters. And you get 2 for the price of 1, or 3 actually for the price of 1.
When you get Daisy. And this line wasn't too bad once we were done with the Seven Dwarfs. We got in line like 10 till
And right next to that area is Cruella there. We didn't have a chance to meet with Cruella, but she is also available for meet and greets.
Well, it's hard to meet everybody unless that's all you're doing, because some of the lines can get really long. And then here is, I believe this is a new trick-or-treat location for this year. There are actually quite a few new, not only character locations, but trick-or-treat locations. And I thought this was, I mean, it's nicely set up.
Well, I think Disney is getting smart by having all the trick-or-treat, at least a lot of the trick-or-treat locations, in air conditioning indoors.
And well, it certainly helps if it rains out, you know, to be able to go inside.
Well, just for the candy, too. The candy, I mean, it may melt when it's in your bag.
Yeah, it'll melt when
unless you
once
eat it
go
all very
outside.
quickly, but at least it doesn't melt. You know, like this one here out in the full heat, you know, that chocolate can be very melty as you're getting it.
I never saw the Werthers. I know they're supposed to be Werthers, but I never saw those. And they
Have to do a third party.
No, it's okay. And there is Lotso Huggin Bear. We did not stand in line for him. Just we had other things. Again, you can't really. It's really hard to do all of anything.
You can do it all. You can meet every character if you're willing to give up the parade and the show and the fireworks.
Probably. And here is the Monstrous, is it Scream-O-Ween Ball?
Scream-O-Ween!
And this is, I believe this is the only dance party this year. And there have been times in the past where there's like 3 of them going on. So it kept them pretty busy over here.
I used to like the villains. Remember they had that villains
dance
party?
it was only like once, you know, and that was actually fantastic, and it was tremendously popular.
It was in the horseshoe, right? Mm-hmm. That was wonderful. I thought that was a tremendous thing. Please bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really dance party type people, but the villains one was fantastic, and you don't really get to see the villains at Walt Disney World out and about all the time, so that was a nice bonus.
Right, and the Scream-O-Ween characters weren't dressed any differently than they usually are, so, you know, it would have been nice if they were in Halloween costumes or something, you know.
Maybe Mike Wazowski couldn't have done a costume. Maybe Sully could have done a costume. Now,
that's true.
There's a little bit of
projections
around the park, not as much
Less
as there used to be.
than usual.
Yeah, not as many as there have been in the past.
And here is Tweedledee and Tweedledum and the Red Queen also meeting and greeting.
And we did not meet them either, but we did, for the first time ever, stand in line for the Pooh characters, and they're in their, you know, their Halloween outfits, so that's why
we chose them. We thought it was more of a special meet.
So the difference with the Pooh characters than with some of the other characters is that during the parades, they don't meet. So the first time we got here was about 7:30, and they told us it would be about 9 o'clock before we'd be able to meet them because of the parade.
Right.
So it's better, we came back, and we still met them sometime after 9, but it just, sometimes the line is closed. It's a little bit more tricky to meet them.
They are great, by the way. Well worth it. We had never done this before, and I don't know why. I think
maybe because it's harder to meet them.
It's very hard to time it. And
Yes.
they shut off the line very quickly. As soon as we got back, or, you know, we did the 9 o'clock thing, the line was shut off after about 15 minutes. So
really?
It's very hard to get in a chance to see them.
Well, I mean, they're still there probably several hours of the evening, but they are very popular. I think there have been times when we almost went to them first, and we just never have, and it ended up that we didn't end up meeting them at all.
So anyway, well worth it. Loved the Pooh characters. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the trick-or-treating fun.
And the balloons are different this year. They used to be the big globe balloons, and now they are like sticks.
Right.
You know, they go up and down. And again, there are different... Oh, there I am.
Look at that trick-or-treater. Getting a nice bag full of candy there.
I know. I mean, we actually didn't trick-or-treat. The first night, we didn't hardly trick-or-treat at all, and we didn't do that much. But we tried to check out a few different areas.
Gaston and Belle
together.
Were fantastic together. I don't think you heard the interactions and the things they were saying, but they were really good.
I didn't end up going over there, so I'm kind of sorry I missed that.
Well, you were working hard, tweeting and keeping people informed live from the party.
Yes, and that's probably what I was doing at that time. We didn't end up meeting them again. You couldn't do it all.
I am impressed, though. Gaston appears to be able to read. He's actually reading a book. That's very unlike him.
Is that unlike him?
He always made fun of Belle for reading.
And you know what? That's true. So maybe he's trying to leave.
Madame Carlotta. Always fun.
And we almost missed her over the 2 parties, so we finally were like, we need to get over there and see if we can find her.
If you get a chance, go to the Haunted Mansion. You don't even have to go on the attraction to see her. She's very funny, very interactive.
She is one of my favorites, and you know, I'm sorry we almost missed her this time in 2 parties.
So I don't know if you know this, but when I first saw her at these Halloween parties, she used to do storytelling, spooky Halloween storytelling on the Liberty Bell. They had a Halloween cruise shoes.
I totally remember that. I don't remember her, but I remember the storytelling, and I thought that was a very nice addition at that time to the party.
Yeah, she kind of evolved from that. And there is poor Mr. Toad, the gravestone of Mr. Toad, a former attraction here.
That isn't very nice, really. I know it's been there a long time, but I didn't even think of it like that.
And here are the Genie and Jasmine in her new attire.
Right, and that has been a very sort of a controversial thing, that costume. It's certainly very different than what she was wearing, although I just saw a picture of her in Disneyland Paris, and she was wearing her normal, what we think of her outfit as.
The more skimpy outfit, like the Genie
Yes.
from the Genie on TV.
I guess if that's how you want to say it, yes. So.
And this is more of a winter type attire.
That's what it looks like, more of a, something that covers her much more. So it's been very interesting.
Here is Abu. Abu is great. This is the only time you can see him at these Halloween parties. Actually, I take that back. I think he's also at the Christmas party as well.
Right, I think so too. I've never really seen him around the parks too much otherwise.
But he was really fun, very interactive, and as was Aladdin. I really enjoy meeting these characters.
And you know where else I saw a picture of Abu recently was at Inventions at Disneyland Paris. So he has met there as well. They have a terrific character brunch every Sunday, and you get like 10 characters, and it's themed every week.
I think the world needs more Abu. Don't you?
I don't know. I think that, I think he's cute.
Also, very hard to time because when you get in line, you're not really sure which character you're going to meet. It'll either be the Genie and Jasmine or Abu and Aladdin.
Right.
So you have to really be careful with your timing. And there is Jafar meeting right next door.
So it's nice they have Cruella and Jafar. I mean, some of the villains are out for guests to meet, which is, I don't know if they always have the villains. It's usually not so much that.
And these are the same villains that we saw at that dance party, that villains dance party we talked about in previous, or about 2 years ago.
They were among, I mean, they had a lot of villains there, and they were just, it was so much fun to kind of watch them dancing.
So here we go. We got some more trick-or-treat action going on here in front of the Jungle Cruise.
Yep. I mentioned we didn't do a ton of trick-or-treating, but some of these are really good to hit.
I recognize that Remy t-shirt
yes,
there.
Disneyland Paris. And the thing is, we usually prefer to go a little bit later in the evening because there aren't really lines. Early in the evening, very busy. Guests leave right after fireworks especially. You have a big push of guests leaving. That's a really good time to trick-or-treat.
Well, early in the evening, we found we did better with doing characters and then trick-or-treating later. Plus, they like to give you more candy because they're trying to get rid of it at the end of the night. Remember that,
At least sometimes their barrels are going empty, though, so it can go either way.
This is my favorite of all the trick-or-treat places inside the Tiki Room, and all the birds are chirping and moving. It's really cool.
This is the second or third year for this. Is it the third year?
I think it's the third. I do, yeah. I think, again, indoors, air-conditioned, and you get at least 3 candy stops for the price of 1 line, which is good.
And there was no line, so it's even better.
And she's very generous, too. Nice helping of candy here. So
You're very excited.
I love, the trick-or-treating it's a treat for us because normally we're working so hard at the first party to do all the shows and things like that.
Right. We don't really even look at the trick-or-treating, except maybe at the very end of the night I went to a couple different places.
So now I'm demonstrating using the allergy bag. Here's the allergy bag, and she just gave me a coin there.
And some places gave you more than 1 coin, is that right?
We're about to see evidence of such a thing. Don't spoil it. Look at this. She gave me a nice, it was like winning at the casino there. She's like, don't tell anyone. And of course, I promise I won't.
Well, you're she knows you're videoing.
That's right, of course.
So, and here is, you see the
little hidden Mickey.
Yes, it's like Mickey Mouse's ears on top of the pirate.
So that is an example of some of the better lighting around the park. Not as much as previous years, but the stuff they do have is very cool.
It's actually much less. I think they shoved all their money into the Hocus Pocus show, which is
quite possible.
Even though I have never seen Hocus Pocus, yes.
Don't admit that.
I keep admitting
Never admit that.
I know at some point I will. I mean, the show is actually very good. So, I mean, you can tell they put a lot of money into it. I'm sure I said that last week.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree. And here's another trick-or-treat spot. This is by the Liberty Bell.
Not new.
Well, it's normally they would bring you in the other way and you just kind of go through, and now you come out, get your candy, and go back up.
It's a little different.
So it's slightly different, and they used to have a like a scare type thing on the boat with smoke and stuff like that.
It's more spooky. It wasn't like scary. It wasn't like something that would scare you.
And I put Mickey in here again just to demonstrate if you're following our advice on characters, you can often meet him during the last hour of the party between 11 and 12 without as much of a wait as the rest of it.
But you know who didn't follow our advice?
Us.
No,
we went straight there
we
at
did
the
it.
first party, but I'm told that is also a good way to do it.
And next door to meeting Mickey, you can turn in those teal tokens we talked about earlier for different treats from this Allergy Friendly Experience desk. And I believe there's 2 of them at the Magic Kingdom. The other one you saw in Liberty Square, is that correct?
That's correct. That's right next to the Hall of Presidents.
So this one, though, is on your way out. I went in just before midnight, and they were still open a little bit after midnight on this day.
And there's your winnings.
Yeah,
You
our
can turn
winnings.
in our
You're the one who
winnings
got
here.
all the tokens.
Let's see what we get. Now, I guess there is a choice of redemption for our winnings.
Well, there's a choice in that whatever your allergy is, you get to kind of choose what the ingredients are. And there's also, I just chose these. I don't have any real allergies, but I just want to kind of see what you could get.
Right, demonstrate the process.
Right, and there's even those little crafts, which are totally not candy. So, you know, there's actually quite a few choices.
So that's 2 parties down for us, and we still didn't do everything.
Right, and but mostly because we spent so much time with the parades, 3 parades and all that. So the first day we barely made it off Main Street.
Right. There's just plenty to do, especially if you love the characters.
And if you're taking photos.
Right. Well, yeah, a lot of waiting involved
for us, yes.
So anyway, now we're going to move on to Disney's Hollywood Studios, and the first thing we're going to talk about is PizzeRizzo.
PizzeRizzo is coming this fall at some point to Disney's Hollywood Studios in the Muppet Courtyard. There we see, this is supposed to be a Heckler's Tomatoes water tower there. And more signage has been added recently.
It looks very, very similar to the concept art.
But there are at least a couple of instances where it is not exactly like the concept art that we have seen on the wall.
And we're going to see one of those right there, a little tribute to the Pizza Planet.
Right? And it says, I think it says the best pizza on the planet. Which is, it's a little harder to see because of the green writing. Also, it says established 1908, where on the concept art it says established 1930. I don't know what either means. I've looked it up.
I'm sure
I do
all our
research
Muppet fans,
on the show.
we do plenty of research.
I usually spend an hour to 3 hours on research on the show. I still don't know every little thing, although, I mean, we've been going to the parks for like 40 years, but I'm not a Muppets aficionado. Even though
but we
I
love
watch
the Muppets.
I love the Muppets, but I don't know everything about them.
Well, there is
There
Mr.
is
Rizzo right
yep.
there.
And we can see here there's going to be beer. This is going to be a counter service location, just as Pizza Planet was a counter service location. It is going to be 2 stories. It looks like it'll be much bigger. I don't know too much about what's going to be inside yet. So I think, I mean, considering how much theming they have outside, and we did see a picture of this going down the road like 2 weeks ago, the
Right.
sign. So I think that's funny because we saw it before it even made it onto the building.
Well, it's interesting that you saw the sign there talking about the beer. Wouldn't it be cool if they had some craft Muppet brews? You know, like some Kermit Ale, perhaps, or I don't know, Miss Piggy Lager. That would be very interesting.
Would that be interesting? I don't drink beer,
I would try
so
all those.
They would have to have some sangria or something. And for some reason, I had not noticed that door up there with the workers going in and out. So I thought that was very interesting.
Definitely very interesting. And the drain and sewer, was that cleaning area? It kind of interesting,
Well,
right
it's
next to the Gonzo's Royal Flush.
I don't think it's so much. I think it's part of that whole building. It's part of that whole theme is the sewers. So Gonzo's
what better
Royal
place than a Royal Flush?
is not
Yes.
yet open, but it will open probably very soon.
I hear it'll be the finest bathroom in all of Disney's Hollywood Studios.
You know, I liked Lights, Motors, Action, especially when I had my broken ankle. That was a great place to go. And
We'll have to do a
we'll
whole
see.
show on recommendation for the bathroom
The
facility.
restrooms. And over here is where Toy Story Land will be going in, although stuff is still coming down here, so I don't know.
Well, you can see a lot of stuff has come down. The entire backlands are gone.
Backlot.
They call it the backlands.
Do they call it the backlands?
They used to. It exists not anymore. But back there is where the Lights, Motors, Action used to be. The bathroom you just talked about would be way back there.
Look how much is still there. I mean,
Not much.
It seems
Couple
like quite
facades.
a bit. Look at Disneyland. Disneyland's knocked stuff down. They have, like...
You have not seen it from... Actually, you probably have seen it from the street, from driving in. It is... I'm telling you, it is wiped out back there.
I've been in the car with you as we go in.
Wiped
Yes.
out.
Well, there's still
Honey, I
quite,
Shrunk the
quite
Kids
a bit
area
there.
completely gone now. So Star Wars
Finally.
Land is coming. Finally.
mean, okay, I still like Osborne Lights better than Star Wars, and I like Goats better than Star Wars.
Goats
but,
are good.
I mean, now that they've started knocking down, you might as well just knock it all down quick.
So now the highlight of the week for us, Minnie's Halloween Dine.
So they have seasonal dining here at Disney's Hollywood Studios at Hollywood and Vine. It's always Minnie Mouse themed. She is like
She
the
hosts the
host
party,
right?
just like Mickey hosts the not so scary Halloween party.
Yes, and so this has become a very popular tradition for a lot of guests. This is our first time doing it, and it costs about $50 per adult. And
It started last year for Christmas, I believe.
Right, I believe that is true. And then they're going to be having Christmas, the holiday dine, starting on November 7th again.
So this would be the very first Halloween ever.
Yes.
And we were there for the very first night of the first Halloween.
And this goes till November 6th, and you can see all of the costumes are new on the characters. I thought that Daisy's costume was very cute. Of course, Donald is the one that stole the show, and Minnie Mouse as she...
Photobombed there?
No. I'm saying as she opened up her costume.
Oh, yes. She did the bat wings.
Yes, and that was pretty cool, and everybody loved that. So anyway, Daisy was very cute. The food here is, are we going to see the food?
Of course we're going to see the food.
Here is Donald Duck in his astronaut costume.
This is my favorite part with Minnie back there doing little photo bombing. And Donald, I told Donald, and he had to straighten his helmet. His helmet was all, he was just hilarious.
This was a lot of fun, and we were there for actually quite a while. It took a while for the characters to come by the first time.
By the way, if you recognize his little light thing there, that is from Darth Vader. That's from
Several
Goofy's
people-
Darth Vader outfit.
Are we sure on that?
Yes, somebody showed pictures of both, and they're identical. I thought that was brilliant.
I did not know it was from Goofy's costume.
I like her gloves.
A lot of them, except for Mickey. Mickey has his Mickey hands, but Minnie's gloves, Daisy's gloves, they all have very interesting costumes. Look at her, as well as her socks, or her stockings. I would say socks. But
I just
stockings.
smile. I smile so hard watching all this stuff. Great stuff.
This is really fun as she opens that up, because when we saw her originally, we didn't know that the cape opened up like that. And there is Donald again. So by the time they came through the first time, when they all came through, it was almost time for the first four to come through again. So that by the time Goofy came through, the others were almost kind of beginning to start
So our
again.
thought was, there's food, it's air conditioned, there's characters, we're in no hurry.
Well, we weren't in a hurry.
No hurry whatsoever.
But I just thought it was funny by the time Goofy did make it that, it was almost time for Mickey again.
So we stayed and saw
Mickey.
Mickey.
we hadn't
Why
eaten
not?
We hadn't eaten dessert or anything. I think I was halfway through my meal then.
I should mention they also give out very nice autograph cards that are pre-signed by all of them for free.
Yes.
Included, nothing's free. Included in the, as
Included
you
in
said,
the
$50 price.
Yes. And you can see Goofy here. He has a spider belt, and he has his gloves are very interesting.
Look at those shoes.
Yeah, you were very excited about the shoes.
Those are some interesting shoes there. He has quite the outfit.
It's really fun to see the characters in new costumes. So we had a good time with this.
Very good. And we're about to see some of the food offerings too, as you had asked for before. Here is my lobster mac and cheese. Look at that. Plenty of lobster there. And there is some peel and eat shrimp. And there's the little Minnie's Halloween Dine candy holder they were giving out also.
I didn't even realize what that was when we went in. So they have salads. They have the peel and eat shrimp. I actually didn't eat a lot on the buffet this time because it seemed like the characters were always coming around.
I didn't
try
that
everything.
problem.
I know,
tried
you
a
didn't
lot
have that
of different
problem.
items, for research purposes only. Oh, that was buffalo chicken there. Buffalo baked chicken. It was yummy.
Now, you really enjoyed your food, where I thought it was, decent, but not, it wasn't exceptional. Like, I know you like the lobster
It's
mac
not
and cheese a
inventions,
lot.
but I'm a very adventurous eater, so I wanted to try some of these other items, like the short rib right there was fall off the bone, wonderful. I like calamari, so you wouldn't have even touched that dish
No,
there.
anything seafood I won't eat. But like inventions at I mentioned
Disneyland
earlier,
Paris
Disneyland
Hotel.
Paris, right? Their food and their desserts are phenomenal, and so this is not that. But it
Carving
is decent.
station there?
I did like that turkey. I always like baked turkey. I love that. Now, I think the desserts could use an overhaul. And that's good because I didn't really eat any because there was nothing
the desserts
really.
weren't as exciting as, let's say, the Star Wars version of this
Star Wars
dinner
They
was.
did a good job, really good
More
job with the
creative.
Star Wars, right? But there's nothing really. It's almost like the same desserts, no matter what the theme, and they're not really inspired.
Although the little worms there were pretty cool, and there's Pluto's bone on the cookie, the salted.
Yeah, I mean, it's cute. I tried a little bit of the one cupcake, and I think that's all I had.
So let's talk about price again. You mentioned it was $50. If you
About
have the
50.
Disney Visa card, you get a 10% discount.
Right, or Tables in Wonderland would give you 20%. I'm not sure on DVC. And here, for some reason, they were in front of the. This is not how it usually is. Like when you enter into the restaurant, they are not like meeting and greeting. Like we didn't meet
for
and
the
greet
Star
them
Wars
here.
Dine, they would have a meet right away with, I think it was Chip and Dale
Dale,
as Ewoks. Not at all like this. Pretty much they seat you and you head straight to the buffet.
And I love the little details. Like Huey, Dewey, and Louie don't really make a lot of appearances here, but like if you go to Disneyland Paris, they're in the parade. So I'm looking forward to seeing them again too.
And I think you did a great job of finding this little detail. This was in that big banner as you walk in. And you keep mentioning Disneyland Paris. And I think we have Disneyland Paris on the brain because I think we might be going there sometime soon. So
very soon.
very
I'm looking
exciting,
forward to that.
Very exciting. And there is Minnie. And here we are in front of that big banner. So anyway, great
It's
time.
like-
Highly recommended.
It's like a backdrop, and I also want to mention that you can find the MGM Studios or the Hollywood Studios water tower
Yes,
that
the
no longer
former
is
water
there as
tower.
well.
Another great find. So anyway, 2 thumbs up, right? You agree? Highly
It
recommend
was very good.
All right, so now we're back to where we started with Grace's awesome picture. We're going to talk about 200 episodes that I still can't believe we have accomplished.
And what is Grace's website is Flower Crowns and
Disney Bound.
That's it. And so check out her website. And also, I just want to say, I didn't think anybody was going to watch one episode, let alone 200 episodes. So I really appreciate.
I don't know if
everyone.
anyone is watching
Maybe
200
nobody's
episodes.
maybe nobody's seeing this. No, I'm kidding. But I just wanted to thank everybody for watching because I really never thought we were going to get to 200. I thought, hey, if we get a few out, that's great. You know, I never thought anybody would want to listen to me talk.
Well, the whole idea of it was we wanted to sort of highlight all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to talk about all the great, cool Disney stuff that we see, less talking about us and more about all the cool stuff. And that was the whole idea. And I guess that's kind of what we're doing.
Well, I will say I'm an introvert who likes Disney. So, you know, I like to talk about it, but I don't want to be like on the screen or anything like that so much.
And ironically, there you are on the screen right
And
now.
yes, there
and
I
we
am.
Have,
I
I
wasn't
always
expecting
make it especially fun to have little cameos, like when you were trick-or-treating, because I know you enjoy that so much.
You know, I was not expecting that. So
That gives me pleasure when you see it while we're recording it, because a lot of times you don't see this stuff ever until we are actually recording.
that is true.
So it makes it more interesting. Anyway, my favorite part of all this is all the great people we've met. There's too many to name everyone, but I appreciate that very much.
And I do too. And we've met so many of you in the park, and it always surprises me, even on the Food and Wine Festival day. You know, there's 4 parks. We're not in them all the time, and yet somehow we get found all the time, and it's really fun. But it's always still surprising to me that anybody even recognizes
From all
us.
over the world, actually.
From all over the world. So it's been fun.
Very cool. So anyway, thanks again for listening. We really appreciate it. We'll be back. This is, we have to make it at least to 500. That's the next round number.
Oh, don't even.
500.
No, that isn't. 300 is
What is
enough.
That, 6 more years?
I can't think that far ahead right now.
So anyway, thanks to our sponsors.
I Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Thank you for supporting our sponsors, including our official travel agency.
That's right. And our official ticket agency, Maple Leaf Tickets, the best deals on tickets in town. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you all next week. Have a great week.
Have a great week.